Welcome back, everybody. It's Three Guys with Mike. Welcome to another episode. I'm Little Man, joined by
William.
And today we're going to go into all the Week 7 matchups. And just recently, Christian McCaffrey was traded to the San Francisco 49ers. We'll get into that later. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we're also going to talk about Dak Prescott coming back. The Eagles I believe, are on a bye week.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
A couple of the key matchups that are going on this weekend. But before we get into that, I just want to say thank you for all the love. We deeply appreciate it. And let's go ahead and get it.
Tied up by Green. Throws it back up top. James puts up the three. Oh, it's gone! LeBron James from downtown.
So, as you know now, Christian McCaffrey has been traded. Willie is here to give you all the details on that.
As we know, McCaffrey to the Niners, and the Panthers in return, they get a second round, third round, and a fourth round pick in next year's draft, and also a fifth round pick in 2024. I
am shocked that there's no first.
I was too at first, but kind of looking at the Panthers situation, you would kind of expect them to get whatever they could take. For now, they are in a complete rebuild mode now. There are a few players that they said that they are not looking to trade right now, such as DJ Moore and Brian Burns, which I still think that anything could change if the right picks come along or the right pieces to rebuild come along.
For the Cowboys to go after Dak, bro.
I mean, anything can happen, really. I mean, this is kind of a free-for-all when it comes to their roster. But who do you think won this trade?
Obviously now the Niners did because they needed the running back. But I think in the future, considering what the Panthers have, and I think they'll go after a really valuable head coach. Mm-hmm. I think obviously in the future it'll work out for the Panthers. You could always find gems in those third, fourth, fifth rounds. Mm-hmm. But now it's the Niners. The Niners are, to me, a win-now team, obviously.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Because Jimmy G just makes his team. I don't know what it is, but he makes his team Super Bowl contenders every time he's a starter and everyone's healthy. Uh-huh. So I think the Niners won it.
Yeah. Looking at the Niners side of things, I think it's going to be very, very scary, and I think they just catapulted to a clear-cut number 2 now in the NFC. Again, I was bouncing back and forth with the Buccaneers, the Packers, even the Eagles, the Vikings as well, but I think right now the Niners, after this tough loss, and again, I think this is also a great point that they came out off of a big disappointing loss in Atlanta, and they instantly just made a huge move to catapult their offense forward, which is a big struggling point in that game. Uh-huh. Ayuk, Kittle, Debo, McCaffrey, with Kyle Shanahan, who's probably the second best play caller and the second best scheming. And you have to go Andy Reid no matter what. Yeah. When it comes to offense.
Buffalo too?
Huh?
Better than Buffalo.
Okay, him and McVay are 2.
McVay or McDermott?
No, McVay.
Oh, okay.
Not McDermott. But, yeah. So I think this offense is going to be very, very well, along with their defense, who's probably, in your opinion, what would you say, a top 5 defense in the NFL?
Top 3.
Top 3? Okay, that's fair. So, yeah, I think this is just a great move all around, and he is going to play on Sunday against the Chiefs, which is going to be a very, very big game.
Getting red zone packages, too, so fantasy owners, look out for that.
So, anything else you want to add about this trade? Before we're also going to dive into the game as well, but anything else right now?
No, it's just once that 49ers O-line gets healthy, it'll be scarier.
Yeah. Okay, so going into the game that just happened tonight, Saints and Cardinals. Cardinals get a much-needed win, a much-pleasing win, I would say, if you're a Cardinals fan. This wasn't a very sloppy game in terms of offense. What did you see with this game? Are you still concerned for the Cardinals' offense to start off? And then what else did you see? You still are? Why?
Yes, because 14 points in 1 minute didn't come from any type of offense. It came from the defense. Mm-hmm. And you take away those 14, and that defense not playing lights out and making Andy Dalton struggle, I mean, it's just a whole nother... You see a lot more of the frustrations that unfolded on the sideline with Kingsbury and Kyler Murray. Uh-huh. And D-Hop was in between it as well. He kind of it took him a while to get going, but then I understand because it's his first game. Mm-hmm. But I feel like everyone else has to make it easy on Kyler. Starting off with Dortch. I know he lost Hollywood. He's going to be out for a couple more weeks. But Kingsbury just has to set him up for success. I mean, Kyler's just one of those quarterbacks where he really can do it all. He can run. He can extend plays as we've seen this season. Mm-hmm. So I just think... Oh, man, I don't know. I mean, we've all been saying it, like, this is going to be their season where they start clicking and stuff.
I mean, I've been saying it, but...
you thought before the year,
I picked them to be second to last.
This is their year, they should. They should, not they will. I
never said... No.
Oh, okay.
I'm not bought on this team at all, but go ahead. You picked them to be second for some reason, but go ahead.
In the NFC West?
Yeah.
They still can be, I mean...
All right,
Rams don't look all that great, but... we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Myself, not very impressed with the offense. Although I do think you can be very optimistic. I mean, I'm just being real. I think that you have Diop who's coming back, and as you can tell, night and day from just 4 days ago, right? They played Seattle and they mustered up 9 points that entire game. Their offense is very, very poor. And I'm a big fan of, if you have a playmaker, you have a top talent in the NFL, you need to force feed him. They do it a lot with Cooper Kupp, Debo. They do it a lot with Travis Kelce, Hill, Stephon Diggs. You force feed your playmakers no matter what. If they don't have anything going for them, you just give them small passes, screens, whatever. Back shoulders, comeback routes, anything to get them going. And that's what I like that they did with Hopkins today. Hopkins had a total of 10 catches, 103 yards, no touchdowns. But he looked very, very good and very well-rounded for not even having a practice for the first 6 weeks of the year. But yeah. I'm not really a big fan of saying you can win or lose a game in the second quarter, but the Saints lost this game in the second quarter. I do think that Andy Dalton has been playing out of his mind and very surprising for the first few weeks that he's been starting. And out of nowhere, just a disaster quarter for them, especially coming towards the end of the second quarter, like you're about to go into halftime. Yeah, but 3 interceptions, one also to start off in the end zone, and then 2 pick sixes back-to-back. How concerned are you with the Saints? Do you think that they could really come out? We do know that you picked them to be number 1 in the NFC South. Do you think that...
You're foul, bro.
No, I'm being serious. Do you think that they could come up with it?
No, but you say that as if they haven't been...
Haven't been what?
Injured.
Horrible? Oh. I mean, they have been injured, but so has every other
Plastered.
team. So has every other team.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
You want the Eagles having Andy Dalton as your second string?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had Nick Foles, the second string, who won the Super Bowl.
That's goated.
Go ahead.
Different breed. The Saints, Andy Dalton has thrown some dimes, but then, I mean, it really just turned into, literally in a matter of a minute, it just all went to hell for the Saints. I think Kamara getting a lot of touches in the beginning was fine, which I don't know why they didn't feed him after the first pick six. You want to get into that rhythm again.
To calm him down.
To calm him down, yes, and use play action off of that. I really like their young receivers. I mean, I know a lot of people last year, when that was a really big problem, who was going to step up, whether Traquan Smith, Callaway.
Yeah.
But
they both did today.
And 17 as well. Shout out to him. I don't remember his name. I didn't catch it. But yes, Kamara, Andy Dalton, and the way they utilized Taysom Hill.
I expected to see
honestly,
more of him.
A lot of people thought that contract was stupid for them to give.
I still think it's stupid.
You still think it's stupid? But, I mean, I wouldn't say it was like 100% worth it, but I'm just saying it was sneaky good.
I would say so, okay. Yeah. I would say as
for
time
what he's
passed,
done, as time passed, for what he's done. But the Saints, I mean, this will probably take another year or two for them to muster up. Probably another year or two. I feel like they need another. I wouldn't even say offensive coordinator. I just think I can tell that Dennis Allen doesn't have a lot of control over what the defense does. But I feel like him being a head coach has put a lot more pressure on him, and it's kind of making him overthink. But I don't know. Maybe you see something different.
No, I would say it's not right to really have him on the hot seat. I know a lot of people after this game were talking about it.
Have him on the hot seat.
I see a lot of positives with this team. Again, we did have higher hopes, but as you were saying, Winston was hurt for a long period of time. He still is a little bit hurt. Michael Thomas, we thought he was going to be back after that first game, and he still missed a lot of games.
I think he's coming back next week.
I mean, they were saying that
but it's like,
2 weeks ago, actually. They were saying he was going to come back and play. But yeah, I think Olave and Smith and all these players, you guys scored 34 points. And I don't really believe, or I don't buy that it was garbage time scoring. I think that this game was still well within hand, and they gave Arizona a handful. But for the Saints, their defense is very disappointing this year. We thought they were going to be at least top 10.
Tyrann Matthews out here missing tackle.
I mean, he was like that in Kansas City last year as well. I mean, he wasn't at his best last year. But yeah, I just think that the Saints right now, it sounds weird. You're 2-5, but you have an extended week off. You are in a division with the Panthers. You're in a division with the Falcons, who look surprising. But again, they're still, still the Falcons right now. And the Buccaneers are not looking the way that they should be. So anything could happen. And I do understand that their schedule coming up is very, very tough. But this is the NFL. Anything could happen. You could win any games at any day. So I think there's a lot of positives to go forward. But I don't know. I think you got to get Taysom Hill involved more, Kamara involved more, and just get your playmakers back, and we'll see where you're going forward from there. But yeah, overall, I think that the Cardinals have a bright future of the season ahead of them, and as well as the Saints. Anything else? Okay. Now, let's talk about probably the other big news that happened today. Dak Prescott announced that he's being back. He's going to come back after his injury, missing 5 games against the Lions, too. Do you see anything with his matchup? Do you think this is the right week to come back or anything like that?
Yeah, I feel like I do. I just feel like it's a week for him to get back into rhythm because everyone knows that the Detroit Lions are have one of the worst defenses, if not the worst defense in the league. So I think this is a good week for him to come back. Schultz is coming back as well, so it'll be easy. I feel like it'll be fun to see him find his connection again with CD and Schultz, and to see how he fits in and utilizes Noah Brown and all those guys coming off the bench more. Yeah, as long as he can stay healthy. Like I said before in the last video, these next 2 games are really just a fill up for him.
Yeah,
to
get him back in rhythm.
To get him back in rhythm. That's what I mean. And then the bye week, and then those next 2 games against Green Bay and Minnesota. I feel like that's, like I said before, I feel like that's when I'll know how serious they are, and if they can keep up with those teams that aren't balanced, but with the good defensive teams, and the Vikings are a pretty good offensive team as well.
Yeah.
So that's when I'll know. I feel like.
I would say any other year, this game versus the Lions, I feel like this would be a very sneaky game that they could potentially lose. But now they have the best defense in the NFL now, and
they still can.
No,
there'll be 1,000 questions if they lose
this is anything can happen. But what I'm saying is that this is a good game, as you were saying, for Dak to come back, find his rhythm again, and I think that you kind of stick to the same game plan that you had in the first 5 weeks of the NFL, which is run the ball with Pollard and Zeke, a nice 1-2 combo. They had probably their best collective game against the Eagles last week, and I just think that Dak, he still needs a little bit of time to come back. I say let's not get pass happy with him. Let's just, have him control the offense a bit. And yeah, the Lions, I don't see much. Again, this is a team coming off of a bye week. Anything could happen. This offense is very, very good, but they haven't faced a defense like the Cowboys at all this year, and I think that this is going to be their first major test, and I don't think they're up for it, honestly. So we're both agreeing that the Cowboys are going to win this game?
Yeah.
You think the offense is going to look fluid, or you think at least it's going to look better than Cooper Rush?
Too. We'll see a lot more deep balls.
Over or under 19?
Over the middle stuff. Over?
Okay.
Over.
So I guess we're both in agreement. I think that this could be a potential shootout if the Cowboys...
Yeah, because Swift's coming back, Amon-Ra's healthy.
So, next game we're going to go ahead and get into, as we touched on before a little bit, the Chiefs and the 49ers. Now, this is a very, very good game, if not the game of the week, in my opinion. Are you concerned right now with the Chiefs, the way that they lost against the Bills last Sunday, and now they have to go to San Francisco, face another tough opponent? You're not worried about them? You think they're winning?
No, because I think that I trust that defense obviously a lot more against Jimmy G than I did Josh Allen, because the Chiefs I feel like have always struggled with scrambling quarterbacks. And like I say all the time, if you put pressure on Jimmy G and you put hands up in his face, it's going to be really hard. He'll be playing from behind a lot if you do that. And it's Spags. I mean, he draws up literally everything in the book. So I feel like they can do that. And with CMC, it'll take some time for him to get in a rhythm. So I don't expect him to be a huge playmaker in this game. Like I said, he'll be in the red zone packages a lot more.
Yeah.
So I think the Chiefs win. Well, it is in San Francisco.
It is, yeah.
And the Niners are also injured. So yes, I'll take the Chiefs.
Yeah. Looking at last week's game in Atlanta, the Niners did allow a lot of yards on the ground. They also allowed Mariota to be very consistent, and I think he had 1 incompletion before the half.
13-14?
Yeah. So I think this defense is going to look for a bounce-back game. And as we always say in the NFL, a good team that gets embarrassed will come back and usually win the game after. But yeah, I like your take about Josh Allen and saying that was pretty much the deciding factor for that game. Jimmy G doesn't bring that factor that Josh Allen does, but they do have a very, very good scheme, if not like one of the best in the NFL. But yeah, I think if you're the Chiefs, you need to run the ball consistently and more effectively than you did last week. Mahomes, he needs to be Mahomes, but I think that he's going to struggle a bit. He's going to be under a lot of pressure. This defensive line is very, very good. Their offensive line has been struggling a bit, especially with speed on the edge. That's kind of been a big issue with them. Von Miller, Crosby in the past few weeks that they've kind of had issues, and now the Niners. So I think this is going to be a very, very tough game. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to who has the better quarterback, and I believe in Mahomes over Jimmy G any day of the week, as I feel like anyone else would. Yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs as well, but I think this is going to be a very, very close game, similar to last week, probably 24-20, 27-24, anywhere in that ballpark. No, all right. Being honest, I didn't predict that score, but I thought it was going to be that kind of game too. I swear to God. I swear to God. Yeah, I wasn't.
No, but I was going to say, I feel like if the Chiefs want to set the tone early, I think you go, because we all know Travis Kelce was kind of quiet last week. Mm-hmm. I feel like you test him a lot with Fred Warner to start the game.
That's true.
And once you do that, once you see their defensive leader kind of giving up plays like that, I feel like that just drops a whole lot of confidence.
I mean, with the Chiefs' offense, you've seen a lot of inconsistency, not with their points as a whole, but with their playmakers. And Valdez-Scantling had a big game against the Raiders on Monday night, and then last week had 0 catches. Juju as well, he's very inconsistent. Kelsey's inconsistent. Hardman's very inconsistent. I think if they all just find one game to click, especially against a defense like this is going to be a great message for them going forward into the year. Yeah, so anything else you have with this team or with this matchup?
No, but like I said, the Chiefs' offense just likes to dial up a whole lot of things to attack good defenses, and that's what the Niners have, so we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, they're going to have to grind it out. Now, we're going to take a break from predicting games right now, and we're going to go ahead and talk about two teams that are very surprising, very disappointing, if you want to say. And we thought that they were going to be meeting again in the NFC Championship game. Again, anything could change right now, but the way it's looking, these teams aren't going to be there. But the Packers and the Buccaneers. These two teams had very high hopes coming in, especially on the offensive side of the ball. If they don't get a win this week, meaning both of these teams, who do you think is more in trouble going on for the rest of the year?
I believe I'll say the Packers.
Packers? Okay, why?
Yeah, because I feel like with them, it's just a whole lot of frustrations boiling over, and something that they were supposed to be good at this year, the special teams, was a problem on Sunday. And Aaron Rodgers, just every week that they lose, it feels like he calls out someone, either the same person like LaFleur or his teammates' schemes. It's just not looking good. I mean, I know Brady goes absolutely.
He's not keeping his cool either. Yeah.
On his offensive line, but you don't see him publicly calling out people on the sidelines with the hats on and the mics.
I would say
you could say he is, but for him to do it weekly, you just don't see. You see it from Aaron Rodgers.
It's kind of been weekly, this year at least. I feel like it's two different things.
But I just feel like the Bucs is more fixable because of the weapons they have, and with the Packers, if this is a consistent thing, where they just can't seem to get things rolling, and it's been 2 quiet games in a row. Or from A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones, yeah.
Yeah, so that's not what you want to see. So yeah, I think it looks more bad on it. I feel like in the public eye, it looks bad on Brady, but within the locker room, I feel like the Packers are just not all there.
I would say that's fair. I would say
I didn't know if that made sense.
No, yeah, it made sense to me. I would agree with you actually. I would say it's very close, and before this, I was kind of going back and forth. But yeah, hearing you speak, I do agree with you. I think the Packers are a little bit more in trouble. They're both playing very bad opponents. The Packers have Washington. The Buccaneers have Carolina. Yeah, so, I mean, these are 2 very easy games, if you will. But looking at the Packers, you guys have 2 of the best running backs in the NFL. You guys have serviceable receivers. You guys have what we believe is a great head coach. We don't know yet because of what's going on this year. Aaron Rodgers is battling an injury. Rely on your run game. You're going against a very bad defense. And let's keep in mind, this Packers defense was supposed to be one of the best in the NFL. They have not shown up. The Packers don't do anything well. They don't run the ball well. They don't throw the ball well. They don't defend well. They don't play special teams well. And they're still what, 3-3? So I think this is a bigger win for them if they go in with it. The Bucs, their defense is still playing out of their minds. Tom Brady, I would say it sounds weird saying it, but I would say he's the biggest problem right now with their offense. But I feel like he's gonna get it fixed.
I don't think that's weird to say.
Yeah, but I feel like he's gonna get it fixed, especially with the team or with an opponent like the Panthers coming up. I feel like this is gonna be a big momentum swing for them. So yeah, I would say the Packers right now are more in trouble. I think both of them win, but I think that the Packers are going to look very sloppy doing it, and I think that the Buccaneers are just going to blow out the Panthers. Now, the next game I'm going to go ahead and talk about is the Colts and Titans. Now, believe it or not, these two teams look very sloppy to begin the year, and now this is a battle for first place. Who do you think is winning this game?
It's in Tennessee. Tennessee's off a bye.
Mm-hmm.
But I have liked the way the Colts have played these last 2 weeks on the defensive side of the ball.
Uh-huh.
And the Colts have a... Yeah, I mean, it's iffy.
First half.
It's iffy.
First half, they were
the first half, yeah. But then, I mean, last week's game was a division game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a team they've seen week 1.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I kind of expected it to be that way. Week two.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'll take the Colts, especially with the way the Titans just bullied them that week that they played prior in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Just ran it down their throat the whole game, just kind of set the tone from the beginning. I think the Colts will come out there and to kind of do the same to the Titans.
Yeah.
Smash mouth football in between the lines. I don't know if Jonathan Taylor's coming back. He's not coming back, is he?
They said he had a full practice, so...
I mean, we'll see.
Supposedly it's looking good for him.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the Colts, and if he plays, I definitely believe that they'll win this game.
I would say...
And also with the rise of Alec Pierce, him and Michael Pittman, two big, lengthy receivers, the Titans don't...
Mo Alley Cox as well.
He, the Titans, I believe their passing game is ranked one of the bottom 5 in the league, so I expect them to be... I expect Matt Ryan to have another big game this weekend.
Yeah. I would say...
What was that?
No, I'm just... It was a big game, I guess, if you want to say. But I would say that the biggest problem with the Colts right now was their offensive line, right? The way that they were performing. And last week they had 45 yards on the ground. That's not going to look good. And I understand you're getting your running back back from injury, but I still don't think it's going to be a tide change or anything like that. I'm still going with the Titans. I think the Titans are the best head coach. They have the best head coach in this division, and in this game, they have the best running back. If anything, the best player. And again, you're off a bye week. You're a fairly decent team. I would say you could argue that they're top 12, if you want to argue that.
Ooh.
The Titans. I would say they're arguably a top 12 team, but they're coming off of a bye week. They're a very good, well head coached team. I'm going with them any day of the week over the Colts. And again, this was a very big struggle for them in the first half. They also allowed a lot. Let me see. They allowed on the ground. They allowed 243 rushing yards on the ground versus the Jags, and they're playing Derrick Henry this week, coming off of a bye week. I don't think this is gonna come out looking good for them. So, going on with the next game, we have the Browns and the Ravens. Both these teams are very disappointing, but still in a place to win first place in this division. Who do you see coming out with this game?
I actually shouldn't even be struggling with this, but I think I'll go over the Ravens. I believe Lamar was hurt last year. Both times, no?
Both times, I think.
Oh, wait, no. He played them on Sunday night.
Oh, Sunday night, yeah.
The last time they played, it was Huntley. But overall, I feel like Lamar has kind of owned the Browns.
I feel like everyone has.
I think he's only lost, twice or one time his whole career? I like
That's
Lamar.
Every quarterback.
I like Lamar going against the Browns. The Browns' defense has been awful all year. I mean, everyone's seen it in the Jets game last year. Bailey Zapp. They got zapped.
Jesus Christ.
I'll take Lamar and the Ravens.
Yeah.
By 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I would say this is a very tough loss for them last week, and again, this is a game you need to bounce back. I do think that this is going to be a closer game, though. I don't think Nick Chubb and this offensive line is going to see another defense like the Patriots. The Ravens' defense has been struggling a lot. And I just think if you let the Patriots put up those kind of points on you, you're gonna give a bunch of points to the Patriots. And again, I think this game's gonna be close, but that's kind of been the trend for the Browns this year. Is they're very close, then Brissett just messes it up at the end somehow, some way, and they have to play with the lead and rely on the running backs and the run game. But I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm going with the Ravens. Next game we're going on, and we're gonna go ahead and talk about, is the Falcons and the Bengals. I think this is a very underrated game that no one's really talking about.
10 a.m., huh?
Yeah, 10 a.m. game. Bengals are at home. I would say I don't know, this is a very hard game. I would say I give the Falcons the edge, if anything. I'll say they're a more gritty and tough playing football team. Shut up. They're a more gritty football team.
What are the status of Terrell and Hayward?
I don't know. I can't find it right here. But I do think that they put up points. Don't get me wrong. They put up a lot of points in the NFL. Seems like whoever's in the backfield for the Falcons, they make it work. Similar to the 49ers. Mariota is a handful when you're defending him. And the Bengals' defense is very good, very good. I will give them that. But their offense hasn't clicked as we thought it would be. But last week was a great game from them, great outing from them. But I don't know. This is going to be a hard game to pick. Who do you go with?
We'll go Bengals.
Bengals?
Who?
Why?
I think they'll force feed a lot of Jamar. I think we'll see a lot of Jamar again on Sunday.
Actually, yeah, okay. Go.
T. Higgins, he had his first game back. He's going to be in a rhythm.
I was just about to bring up that point.
Hayden Hurst has been playing really good football for the Bengals. The offensive line last week impressed me, especially Leo Collins. He impressed me. I know he said all that stuff, was talking all that trash to Cam Jordan, but the offensive line just felt like they were all in sync last week. And the Falcons, I feel like they are squeaking by. I believe did they score 28 points in the first half?
In the first half, yeah. I think.
In the first half. I just can't see Marcus Mariota doing that on this Bengals defense. Like you said, they've been a top 10 defense this year. They don't allow a lot of points in the second half, and I feel like that's what the Falcons struggle with. Mm-hmm. So I'll take the Bengals at home. I like the chances at home.
Yeah, I changed my mind. I do think this is going to be a tough game, but yeah, I'm going to go with the Bengals. As you were saying, with T. Higgins being back now, hopefully he's closer to 100% than he was in the past few weeks.
Especially, even if one of them is out, someone's going to have a big day, Terrell or Hayward.
Yeah. So, and also, I just think that the Bengals, they're getting their run game going a little bit. I mean, they're not really attempting the runs, but I think it's there. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bengals as well. I changed my pick. Next game, Giants and the Jaguars. Which, if we would have said this game was gonna be horrible 2 months ago, we probably would have been right. But now this is looking like a fairly decent game. The Jaguars are always in it and they're always competitive. They just can't find ways to win games. And the Giants are 5-1, one of the best teams in the NFL. Who do you think is coming out with this game?
I think I'm going to have to go with the Giants.
Why?
Just because every time we seem to count them out, they just do the complete opposite. Daniel Jones has showed much great poise. Saquon Barkley is having his bounce back year of a lifetime. Mm-hmm. And that defense, all those young studs have been flying around. And they've been injured. Through it all, they've been injured. One of the most injured teams in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And I think the Jags, they haven't looked good ever since they lost to Philly.
Yeah.
And I think that'll continue. This is the struggles. They've been concerning for me. And I think the Giants are on a roll. I believe the game's in New York, right?
It's in Jacksonville.
It's in Jacksonville. To me, that changes for the Giants a lot.
Yeah.
But they've done it. They did it week 1, so I'll keep the Giants.
I'm going with Jacksonville. I'm expecting a big game from Trevor Lawrence. This isn't fantasy related at all, but I'm expecting a big game from Trevor Lawrence.
Yesterday.
I also think that the running game looked very, very, very good in Indianapolis last week, and I think that's going to continue. ETN has looked very good in the past 2-3 weeks. 18, yeah. He's looked very good in the past few weeks, which is kind of weird with the way Robinson has looked in the earlier part of the year.
Watch out for Hasty, dog.
Yeah, so all three of those backs are very, very good, and I think that Doug Peterson is a very good coach. I think he's just going to come out with this win. Next game, we're going to go ahead and talk about I would say it's a decent game. Broncos Country, let's ride. Jets and Broncos, 1 o'clock game.
I seriously thought you were going to say Raiders and Texans.
I mean,
no.
I don't know. But Jets and Broncos, I'm going to go with the Jets. I just think that they're going to run it down the Broncos' throats. The Broncos have a very, very good defense, but it's going to be hard to maintain that when your offense looks horrible for the pretty much every game like this year. The Broncos defense has just looked bad, and there's so many what ifs. You could screenshot almost at any point in time on almost every play, Russ missing a wide open guy or someone dropping a pass or anything like that. This offense has yet to click against that home crowd. When your home crowd is even booing you extensively, it's very hard to operate, especially with the new head coach. Russ looked amazing in that first half, in that first quarter, and then he had 17 yards in the second half, right? And overtime? Yeah, so that's not going to get you anything. And I just think that I understand that the Jets' passing game has not been great, but I think this is a perfect game that you rely on your two young running backs. Your offensive line is playing very well. And this is another game that's going to be gritty. Just like last week. Stop. Shut up. This is just like last week. The offense for the Packers wasn't clicking, and neither was it for the Jets, but they had to rely on a blocked punt, return for a touchdown, a lot of turnovers, rushing the quarterback. And Quentin Williams is going to put pressure on Russ, and it's going to make it very hard for him to maneuver the pocket. I'm going with the Jets.
Yeah, I think I'll take the Jets in this one too because the Broncos are just the Broncos. It's been ugly all year, and the Jets' defense is finding their stride. What they did to Aaron Rodgers last week, I feel like they can put a lot more pressure on Russ as well, considering that O-line is also injured. Mm-hmm. And with the passing game, we forgot to bring up that Elijah Moore requested a trade today. Which to me was...
It's not going to get requested.
So, yeah, I think they're going to pull back from that.
Yeah.
Which they should, because I feel like, to me, that was just selfish of him.
I disagree. But go ahead and finish, and I'll tell you why.
Okay. But, yeah, I'll take the Jets. I just feel like they have a lot going for them, the momentum. I just think it'll all come down to their defense winning them this game.
No, I disagree with the whole that it's selfish of him. I think that as a receiver, when you're getting one catch... and you have the talent like him, I feel like that's very hard to deal with. But again, I do see your side as well, and a lot of people's point of views is that you guys are 4-2, and you're complaining about what you're getting. I do think that the Jets have a lot of talent at the receiver position, even at tight end, and it's just not working. You would think on paper that the passing game is going to work, but it hasn't been doing it right now. But either way, you're winning games. But yeah, I do understand his frustration. I don't think it's really selfish of him to be upset, but requesting that trade, I do think that was selfish. So yeah, I agree with you halfway. But yeah, and also for the Broncos, Melvin Gordon is getting the start, right? That was a report that he's going to get the start. I think he's going to have a bounce-back game. It's going to look fairly decent. I think the Broncos' offense is going to look a little bit better, but it's not going to be any drastic changes. Still going with the Jets. You're going with the Jets as well, right? Okay. Next game, Seahawks and Chargers. I think this is a game that could potentially have a lot of points on the board. Seahawks do give up a lot of yards. Chargers are potentially getting Keenan Allen back. Chargers also had a very disappointing game, but they found a way to win, and I think that's going to continue this week. No matter how much they go for it on fourth down and it's a boneheaded call, I think some way they'll find a way to work. You have the better quarterback. You have the better defense. I would say Seattle is a bottom 5 roster when it comes to the defense side of the ball. And yeah, I just think that this game you're going to make it work. Austin Eckler is also going to get a lot more chances to kind of prove why he's one of the best backs in the NFL. And your defense took a big step after being very, very mediocre in the past few weeks. They took a big step on Monday night.
Yeah, I think I'm expecting a shootout between these two teams. But I'll take the Chargers, but I will not be surprised if the Seahawks win. Mm-hmm. Geno Smith has played good. The Seahawks defense has surprisingly shown up when they've needed to. In big moments and made some big plays. And the Chargers, they showed a lot on Monday night. But I just feel like this is two offenses who have been kind of, I wouldn't say in rhythm, but they haven't looked to me concerning all year. And the defenses they do give up a lot of big plays, both in the secondary. So I expect a shootout, but I think I'll take Justin Herbert.
I'm taking Justin Herbert. Also, one point of concern is that the Seahawks run the ball very, very well, and the Chargers defense isn't the best when it comes to the run game. Mm-hmm. So I think that is something to look out for and to watch out for. And as we know, SoFi Stadium is just another home game for the away team, especially with the fan base like Seattle. I think that could cause some disruption, but I'm still going with the Chargers. Next game, Sunday Night Football, Steelers and Dolphins. Tua is planning to come back for this game. Steelers snuck away with a very, very gritty win and a very nice win against the Buccaneers. Who do you think is winning this game?
I feel like the Dolphins open up the playbook more. Mm-hmm. And play with more confidence, knowing that they have their starter back in, and a lot of people who trust him. So I'll take the Dolphins in this one, and I think the Steelers, they played really well.
They're getting a lot of defensive players back.
And they're getting a lot of defensive players back as well. But I think Tua and this offense are just going to start from where they left off. Mm-hmm. And I think it'll be a close win on Sunday night.
I would say be prepared for a lot of takes because again, this is going to be a primetime game. A lot of people are going to say this is a very boring game, and I'm going to say that this is going to be a very low-scoring game and a sloppy game, especially with Tua missing the last few games. But I think at some point you're going to find a way to win, and this is kind of going to be a win at the end for the Dolphins. And I say that because Tua, I feel like he's just going to give the ball to his playmakers, to speedy guys like Hill, Waddle. And Waddle did not have the best game last week against the Vikings. He kind of costed them that game a little bit. But I think that they're going to bounce back. You're going to kind of just force feed them as well. And I think that this is going to go in your favor. But this is going to be a very sloppy game. And I think that whoever is starting the game for the Steelers, it's still not going to work out well for them. We do understand that Mitch, he did look good to close out that game. But again, that's a small portion of the game, and you have to play all 4 quarters. So yeah, I'm still gonna go with the Dolphins. Next game, we have Bears and Patriots on Monday Night Football. I don't know why they put this game on primetime, but you never know. This game could surprise us. I'm going with the Patriots though. Bill Belichick against a young quarterback who doesn't look good at all by any means. And again, I do understand a lot of it is his receivers, but a lot of it is also him. Yeah, I'm just going with them. They've been running the ball very, very well. Whether it's Mac Jones or Zappy, where the hell his name is, back there. What are you looking at? Whatever his name is, they're going to put up points. I think this is going to be a very big win for the Patriots. I think it's going to be a blowout, honestly. Who do you have?
I'm going to keep this short. It's Bill Belichick against a young QB in New England.
Primetime.
His record is insane. Primetime. I'll take the Patriots any day when I get that type of matchup.
Yeah. Last and final game, we have the Raiders and the Texans. I'm going with the Raiders. I think it was a great step forward. Monday Night Football, you're off a bye week. Hopefully you have time to cool down and not push cameramen. And I think that Josh Jacobs has also looked very, very well. The running game has looked very, very well. Max Crosby is probably one of the top defenders in the NFL. And yeah, I think they're going to make it work. I don't think the Texans are good at all. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll take the Las Vegas in this one.
Yeah. All right. Well, that concludes all the games this week. Thank you guys for listening. If you guys made it all the way to the end of the video, leave a comment. Tell us what you guys think about our video. Any feedback, we greatly appreciate it. Any interaction, we greatly appreciate it. Tell us how your team is doing. Tell us your concerns. We love to talk to people. I do have people from time to time DMing me. I know you do, right? You have people who DM you about their teams and
about takes, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, just interact with us. We love interacting with you guys, and thank you guys for watching.